Okay, sit yourself onto your lift and then come into a good cross-legged position. Let's have a little wriggle about, make sure that you're sitting evenly. That there's a sensation of levelness at the seat bones and the feet connect evenly to the floor. Hold onto your knees and elevate the heart area up to the ceiling, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Look down at the floor. Look at something that isn't moving. Keep your eyes still in your sockets. Keep the jaw soft. So lower the lower teeth away from the upper teeth. Feel your lungs from the bottom to the top and empty them from the top to the bottom. Feel the lungs from the bottom to the top and empty them from the top to the bottom. Breathing in and out of both lungs evenly. Release your knees, bring your hands into Namaste, push the palms firmly together. Lengthen from your armpits into your elbows. Elbows into the heels of the hands into the fingertips. And then with an exhalation, allow your eyes to gently close. Focus on filling the lungs from the bottom to the top and emptying the lungs from the top to the bottom. With an exhalation, draw your chin down to meet the chest. Lift your chest up to meet the chin. Spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Something or someone or somewhere that brings positive energy into your existence. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area as you release your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. Bring the tip of the index finger together with the tip of the thumb. A gesture of wisdom, of physical intelligence, and of peacefulness that we can carry with us into our practice as an intention. Gently raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Hold onto your knees. Elevate the heart area upwards, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across and your ribs and your shoulders, just working with sensitivity, observing your body's response to the pose and respecting it. Observe if there is any resistance or whether there is freedom, if it feels different this morning to how it feels normally. Just observe the sensation of the pose. Come back to the centre, hold onto your knees, lift again up into the chest, puffing up the chest, bringing the chest up to the ceiling. Take a deep inhalation and then with following exhalation turn to the left. Again, just being observant of the feeling of the pose. Does it feel different to the other side? Is there resistance on this side where there wasn't on the other? Or is there freedom? Most likely a combination of both. So try not to focus solely on the resistance. Draw your attention also into the freedom. Divide your attention evenly between them. Come back to the centre. Come off your lift and come down into Adho Mukha Virasana. So sit back on your heels. Just sit back on your heels with the big toes together and the knees apart. Just spend a moment just to wriggle into the inner heels. Wriggle into the inner heels so that the inner heels roll out a little, so that the little toe side of the foot is, or the little toe side of the toes are pressing down into the floor. Lift up into the chest, elevating the heart area upwards, keeping the head lifted as you come forwards, stretching forwards with the arms, extending into the arms, extending into the fingers, aiming to keep the seat bones down on the heels. Keep the head lifted initially, just so that you can maintain that extension of the spine, and then bring the forehead down. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Aim to keep the seat bones pressing down onto the heels. Lengthening the sacrum spine down into the tailbone. Lengthening from the hips into the armpits, into the elbows, the wrists, the palms, the fingers, the fingertips, the fingernails. Come up onto your knees. Have your hands as wide apart as the mat. Turn your toes under and then come up into dog down. So sometimes we come into dog down with straight legs, but I want you to consciously bend your knees a little. Bend your knees a lot. And then poke the tailbone up to the ceiling a little more so that you draw into the shoulder blade region. And then re-straighten the legs. Tighten the kneecaps. Press the fronts of the thighs consciously through to the backs of the thighs. Turn the fronts of your thighs inwards. Listening to the sounds of the inhalation and the exhalation. Step your feet forward, come up into a standing position, get a couple of blocks for your hands. And then bring your feet as wide apart as the mat. So feel that your feet are on the edge of the mat. So feel that the outside edge of the heel is touching the edge of the mat. Feel that the little toes are touching the mat. Make sure your feet are in line with each other. So your feet are as wide apart as the mat, the outside edge of the foot in line with the edge of the mat. And then bring your hands into your lower back. Thumbs stretching towards each other, winging the elbows towards each other. Tighten the kneecaps. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. Stamp the big toe into the floor, stretch into the little toes. As you hinge at the hips, keep the head lifted. Reaching forwards, away from the legs, keeping the legs really straight, tightening the kneecaps. Feeling the backs of the knees opening up. It feels good, unless there's a problem with your knees, of course. And just be softer if it's causing discomfort. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards so that the backs of the thighs broaden outwards, and then pick up the seat bones. Lift the seat bones up towards the ceiling. Project the chin and the chest forwards. Just work with sensitivity. Observe where there is restriction and respect that. Observe where there is freedom and acknowledge and enjoy that. Project the chin and the chest forwards, trying to make space in the abdomen. Pushing the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs, turning the fronts of the thighs inwards, picking up the seat bones, lifting the seat bones. If you can come down lower, then do, but without losing that space in the abdomen and the extension of the spine. If you can come down to the floor, then do. But again, without losing that space in the abdomen. The space in the abdomen is really significant. So it's, if you feel restriction in the abdomen, then go higher until you've found it again. Keep the kneecaps tightened. Keep the fronts of the legs pushing back to the backs of the legs. Keep turning the fronts of the legs inwards. And pick up the seat bones away from the backs of the thighs. Lifting the tailbone up towards the ceiling, projecting the chin and the chest forwards. So I often think of uttanasana as a little bit like how a four-legged creature walks the earth. If you can bring the palms all the way down, then it's almost exactly how our four-legged friends experience the planet. So you have to really lift the head, otherwise you're looking at the floor all the time. And of course, a four-legged creature has got much more space in their shoulders, probably got a little bit of a longer neck, but it's the similar experience. Bring the hands into the hips, bend the knees on the way up if you need to, and then come up into a standing position. Just come into Tadasana. Just be in Tadasana for a moment, lifting the chest. Tightening the kneecaps, bringing the fronts of the thighs inwards, the backs of the thighs outwards. Listen to the sound of the inhalation and the sound of the exhalation. Bring your arms out nice and wide, in towards your chest, and then step or jump the feet nice and wide apart. Turn the left toes in, the right leg and foot all the way out. Straighten the legs and turn the legs in the opposite way to Tadasana. Tadasana, you turn the legs inwards. For these side facing extensions, you turn the legs outwards, especially this front leg. So that's the priority leg really. Keep that back leg straight. Keep that back leg straight. Reach over, try and keep that right side of the torso long, and then look up. Reach up with the top hand. I run out of ceiling height a bit here, so ideally that top shoulder should be directly above the bottom shoulder. Look up. Feel where the feet are. Feel where that front leg buttock bone is. Squeeze it forwards. Push the back leg towards the wall behind you. Draw the abdomen up towards the ceiling. Chest up towards the ceiling. Breathe in and out through the nose. Keeping the thighs lifted, keeping the thighs turning. Keeping that big toe stamping down. So if you're here on New Year's Eve, we were stamping that big toe down. See if you can stamp the big toe of that front foot down. Come back up. Come back to the centre, swap the feet around, turn the right toes in. The left leg and foot all the way out. And again, really focusing on turning this front leg all the way out. Turn the back leg all the way out. Keep the legs tightened, keep the kneecaps tightened. Reach over, trying to maintain that length of the left side as you come down. Reaching up towards the ceiling. Turning the thighs. Observing how this pose brings clarity to the sinuses. Breathe in and out through the nose if you can. Come back to the centre, bring the feet parallel, and then step or jump your feet back together and come back into Uttanasana. Lift up into the chest, turn the palms all the way out, and just focus on that feeling of elevation from the feet into the legs, turning the legs inwards. It's the opposite way to trikonasana. Turning the fronts of the legs inwards, tucking the tailbone in, lifting up into the chest, up into the heart area, drawing the shoulders away from the ears, turning the palms all the way out. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Okay, we're going to do vrksasana, the tree pose. So you might want something to, so sometimes just having something nearby, you can do it right up against the wall if you feel that you might not be able to balance. So you can do it up against the wall, or you can just have something nearby to help you to balance, or maybe you won't need anything. Just have something nearby if you do feel like you might need it. So have the inner edge of the feet together, tighten the kneecaps, and turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. Tuck the tailbone in, lift up into the chest, elevate the heart area up to the ceiling. Spread the toes deeply of that left foot. And then bring the right foot up and bring that right foot all the way up into the top of the thigh if you can. And then just see if you can straighten that standing leg. Tighten the kneecap. Remain in Tadasana. Turning the front of the thigh inwards. So you can have something nearby if you need it. Lift up into the chest. Stretch your arms down to the floor initially. Just find that balance. Squeeze the outer thigh into the foot. Push the foot into the inner thigh. And then raise your arms. Raise your arms over your head. Ideally, have the palms parallel to each other. I have to do a slight variation because of this lack of ceiling height. But just feel that you can extend up into the arms, keeping the shoulders down, away from your ears, keeping the leg, that standing leg really firmly in Tadasana. Pushing the outer thigh into the foot, pushing the foot into the outer thigh. And then release your arms, release the leg. Just come back into Tadasana. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. Again, it's useful, as you can see. I kind of, if you do this skin on skin, you stick a bit better rather than on material. So if you can lift your shorts, that's always good. Tighten the kneecap, and then bring the foot up into the thigh. At this stage, maybe you bend that standing leg, but as soon as the foot is there, as soon as you push that foot into the thigh, that outer thigh into the foot, then straighten the standing leg, tighten the kneecap. Do Tadasana, turning that thigh inwards. Just lift up into the chest, find your balance. Lengthen from the hip into the knee of that bent leg, and then raise your arms up, and then over, palms facing each other. I have to do a slight variation, but just have the palms facing each other. Just listening to the sound of the inhalation, the sound of the exhalation. Deep inhalations and exhalations. Reaching up, feeling that the energy of the pose goes up rather than down. Reaching out of the floor into the leg, into the hips, into the torso, into the arms. Okay, release your arms, bring the leg back down. And then come back into Tadasana. Just breathing even, deep inhalations and exhalations. Just listening to the breath. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Observing your energy, observing the sensations of the pose, observing the levelness of the pose. Stretch your arms forwards, bring the palms all the way out, and then reach all the way behind you. Bring the tips of the fingers together, and then walk the fingertips up towards the neck. If you really can't reach, then just get hold of the opposite elbow. So reach the fingers up towards the back of the neck. Then you'll probably be like this. So lengthen the elbows behind you, lengthen the elbows to the wall behind you, lengthen from the shoulders into the elbows, and then squeeze the elbows in towards the heels of the hands. Namaskarasana. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Feel how the chest opens to accommodate the pose. Listen to the sound of the inhalation, the sound of the exhalation. And then gently release your hands and then bring your hands back into Tadasana, just stretching from the shoulders down into the palms, spreading the fingers. Turn the palms all the way out, rotating the upper arms in the sockets as you do so. Lifting up into the chest. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the sound of the breath. One more time, stretch your arms forwards, rotate the palms. As you rotate the palms outwards, so the thumbs are reaching to the floor, see, the little fingers are reaching to the ceiling. Rotate in the upper arm, rotate the upper arm in the socket. As you come forwards, don't worry about dropping the chest a little, keep rotating the arms in the sockets, reach behind you, bring the tips of the fingers together, and then walk the hands up the back. You can keep the chest dropped at this stage, and you'll probably be able to get your hands a bit higher up your back. And then once your hands are there, lift the chest. Reverse that drop in action. Wing the elbows behind you. Wing the elbows in towards the heels of the hands. And then focus on bringing the palms of the hands together, the finger knuckles together. Fill the lungs from the bottom to the top, filling the lungs evenly, emptying them from the top to the bottom. So namaskarasana is a really good pose for bringing energy into the body. Tuck the tailbone in, draw the belly button towards the spine so that you don't overdo it in the lumbar. And then gently release your arms. Resist the temptation to shake the fingers. Spread the palms. Spread the fingers. And again, rotate the upper arms in the sockets as you turn the palms all the way out. Just listening to the sound of the in-breath and the sound of the out-breath. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And then release. Get a couple of blocks. We're going to do uttanasana, but we're going to do uttanasana with a variation. So we're going to do, we're going to do classical uttanasana with the feet together. When we do uttanasana at the beginning, we have the feet all the way as wide apart as the mat. In classical, in the kind of full pose, you have the inner edge of the feet together. There's a lot more restriction in the hips when you do this. So that turning in of the fronts of the legs needs to really significantly happen to give you space in the hips, to give you space in the buttock area. So lift up into the chest. Now, one of the problems with uttanasana is that if you want to come down with the head, then you round your back and you'll hurt your back, and you don't want to do that. So we've got to come forwards as if the hands are in the back. And then as you come forwards with your head lifted. And then you come halfway and then reach down to the blocks. Now you'll find that there's a lot more restriction in this pose when the feet are together. But you've got to really work to keep the legs together. So let's just do that first stage. So have the inner edge of the feet together, turn the fronts of the thighs inwards, have the hands on the hips, lift up into the chest. Keep turning the fronts of the thighs to give you space in the hips. Keep the abdomen long and then reach down. Find the blocks. Have the blocks underneath your shoulders. So just observe what you have to do in the legs. The more you turn the fronts of the thighs inwards, the more the backs of the thighs feel like they broaden, and the more space you get in the hips. You can lift the seat bones away from the backs of the thighs. Okay, bring your hands back onto your hips and then come back up into Tadasana. Now we're going to come into the pose with the hands in namaskarasana. Now this is quite strong, especially in your back. So if you feel that you've got a kind of a restrictive lower back, then bring the feet hip width apart to come forward this way. Otherwise, you can do it with the feet together. So reach behind you, bring the tips of the fingers together, excuse me, and then walk your hands up the back. The third time you come into namaskarasana, you'll probably notice that you come into it a little more easily. So really activate the legs, tighten the kneecaps, turn the fronts of the thighs deeply inwards. Keep the head lifted and come forwards, hinging at the hips, keeping the abdomen long, keeping the chest extending away, keeping the head lifted. So when you come into the pose in the namaskarasana, it makes you come forwards with the back straight. So keep turning the fronts of the thighs consciously inwards, lift the seat bones up, project the chin and the chest forwards. And then release your arms, but keep the back straight, reach down. You might find that maybe you can come down a little lower, but don't go down too low, so that you lose that deep extension of the spine. If you can come down all the way to the floor, but not at the expense of losing that extension. Keep turning the fronts of the thighs inwards. That's the key to giving space in the hips. Even if the heels start to separate, extend the seat bones up to the ceiling. Keep the head lifted, keep the spine extending away. Projecting the chin and the chest forwards. If you can bring your fingernails in line with the toenails, bringing the palms down. But all the time, keeping the back as straight as you possibly can. Okay, then bring your hands into your hips, bend your knees, and come up into Tadasana. Just lengthen the arms down and lift up into the chest. Turn the palms all the way out. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Okay, and then come down onto your back into supta baddha konasana. So just come directly onto the mat. Pull the feet towards you. Let the knees fall apart. And then just have your hands on your lower ribs. If there's resistance in your hips and it's difficult to stay, then allow put some blocks on the outsides of the thighs. Just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Turn the tail, press the feet together really firmly, especially the heels, and gently turn the tailbone in. Draw the tailbone in. Draw the abdomen to the spine, just to soften in your lumbar. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, keeping the heels consciously stamping together, keeping the outside edge of the feet pressing together, turning the tailbone inwards like you're going up into setu bandha, but you keep the hips on the floor. Draw the belly button towards the spine so that the lumbar stays in contact with the floor as much as possible. Stretch your arms up to the ceiling, interlock the fingers right into the webbing of the hands, turn the palms all the way out, and then lengthen your arms along the floor. If there's resistance in your shoulders, then you can put a folded blanket or some blocks underneath your hands just to support your shoulders. Otherwise, just use the floor. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. And then release your arms, swap the interlock of the fingers, do the unnatural interlock. Turn the palms all the way out, and then lengthen your arms again along the floor. Again, maintaining the in-breath and the out-breath. Focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. Release your arms, just rest your hand on your lower ribs, let the body relax into supta baddha for a moment. And then draw your knees in towards each other, have the knees apart, knees together and the feet apart, knees together and feet apart. Just rest in your hips. And then pull your knees in towards your chest. Have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. Just a gentle massage on the spine. And then roll onto your right side and then push yourself up into a seated position. Just come up into cross legs. You can do half padmasana if that's okay in your knees. Otherwise, sit in just straightforward cross legs, swastikasana. Sit on a lift if you struggle to lift your chest. So have your hands on your knees, lift up into the chest. Just feel how you can broaden the abdomen by lifting up into the heart area. Drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Draw your chin forwards and down, bring the chin to the chest. Observe your breath filling the lungs from the bottom to the top. So bring the chin to the chest for Jalandhara Bandha, and then incorporate Mula Bandha, raising the anal sphincter up towards the diaphragm, or lifting up into the abdomen region. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. So Mula Bandha shouldn't be a grip, it's just an elevation. Fill the lungs from the bottom to the top. Empty them from the top to the bottom. each inhalation, allow the inhalation to overflow from the top of the lungs, and the energy of that overflow lengthening into the arms and the chest and the legs. And then release Mula Bandha, release Jalandhara Bandha, and then just raise the head, look forwards. Just observing the energy that you have released into the limbs and into the chest and into the head. Elevate the heart area upwards and then turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across, your ribs across, your shoulders across. And then gently come back to the centre. Hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest. Take a deep inhalation. And with an exhalation, turn to the left. Drawing the abdomen across, the ribs and the shoulders, keeping the neck soft, just looking forwards. And then very gently come back to the centre. Good, so just come down onto your back, and if you've got a bolster handy, then we'll use a bolster. If you haven't got a bolster, then you can just use a cushion, or you can just raise your legs up into the air. So we're going to just come down into viparita karanhi. So initially just bring the feet close to the seat bones, get the bolster, lift the seat bones up, lift the tailbone up, and then bring the bolster into the small of the back. So it's the sacrum area, the tailbone's just kind of hanging off the end of the bolster a little. Hold on to the sides of the bolster, gather your shoulder blades together so you come onto the tops of your shoulders. Bend your knees and then elevate your legs up into the sky. So try and stay on the tops of your shoulders. And again, breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Tadasanarise your legs. So maybe your big toes are together, but your heels will be apart. Turning the fronts of the thighs inwards. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. Filling the lungs from the bottom to the top, emptying the lungs from the top to the bottom. knees, bring your feet back down onto the floor. And then lift the seat bones, roll the seat bones away. And then just come up into a seated position. Just cover yourself up if it's chilly. Have the bolster underneath your knees. Have a folded blanket for underneath your head, just for the final couple of minutes in shavasana. And then allow yourself to release completely into the floor. Just focusing on filling the lungs from the bottom to the top and emptying them from the top to the bottom. Filling the lungs from the bottom to the top, emptying them from the top to the bottom. As you relax into the pose, unhook the muscles of the arms and the legs and allow the body to become heavy on the ground. Just allowing that heaviness to sink into the floor. And as you let the body go heavy, observe that perhaps there's a sensation of lightness that radiates from the bones. Radiating from the bones into the muscles. Into the organs. Into the flesh and the skin. When you're ready to disturb yourself, just wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, bring yourself back into this pose of shavasana. And then bend your knees, bring your feet onto the bolster, the knees together, the feet apart. Draw your knees in towards your chest, have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, gentle massage on the spine. And then roll over onto your right side, straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position, just a final cross legs with your hands in the masti. Draw your breath in through your nose down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you've released through your practice. A good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends and the twists and the inversions bring to the body and to the mind. Taking hold of that energy and dwelling upon it. Good positive energy that comes from the body and the mind. Draw the chin down to meet the chest. Spend a moment to seek to acknowledge the positive energy you've created around the heart area. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. Gently release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. And as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me. So hopefully you feel as though you have really lifted your energy, giving yourself a good old stretch, and you're full of good, positive energy to put into your day. So, thank you very much for joining me, and Happy New Year.